Once upon a time, in a world touched by whispers of old magic, lived a gentle girl named Cinderella. Her heart was as warm as the summer sun, even though her days were often cold. She lived in a gloomy house with her stepmother and two stepsisters. Every morning before the first light, Cinderella began her endless chores. She swept the dusty floors and washed heavy pots until her small hands ached. Her clothes were plain and gray, but they could not dim the kindness that shone from within her. Cinderella found comfort in the smallest creatures. She spoke softly to the birds perched on the roof. The tiny mice near the oven were her trusted friends, listening to her quiet songs. Her spirit remained bright, despite the harshness of her life. One day, a golden letter arrived at the house, sealed with a royal crest. It carried news that set the whole kingdom abuzz. The king would host a grand ball at the palace. This magnificent event was for the prince to meet every young lady in the land. The stepsisters squealed with delight, tossing ribbons into the air, their minds filled with dreams of silk gowns and sparkling jewels. They called out to Cinderella with endless demands. "Cinderella, iron my dress. Cinderella, fix this tear. Cinderella, polish my shoes until they shine." She obeyed them without a single complaint, sewing hems with care and tying laces tightly. When she finally gathered the courage to ask if she might attend, her stepmother's smile was cold. "A servant at the royal ball? Don't be foolish." With those words, they left her alone, surrounded by ashes and quiet tears. In the quiet garden, under the thin light of the moon, Cinderella whispered her deepest wish. "I only want one night to dance," she sighed, her voice barely a breath. A warm, shimmering glow rose from the very air around her. Suddenly, her kind fairy godmother appeared, her eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. "Your heart is good, my dear," she said, her voice like soft chimes. With a gentle wave of her wand, a wondrous transformation began. Cinderella's plain rags turned into a shining gown, spun from moonlight and starlight. Her worn shoes became delicate glass slippers, sparkling like dew. A humble pumpkin transformed into a magnificent golden carriage, ready to whisk her away. Even two tiny mice became proud white horses, eager to pull the carriage. "Remember, my dear," warned the fairy godmother, her voice soft but firm. "The magic ends at midnight." The palace shone like a jewel, its windows ablaze with light. Music floated over the fragrant gardens, inviting all to dance. When Cinderella entered, a hush fell over the grand ballroom. The prince noticed her at once, drawn by her grace and radiant smile. They danced through the night, their steps light and joyful. They laughed at missed steps and spoke of simple joys. They talked of blooming flowers, the scent of fresh bread, and quiet mornings. Time seemed to vanish in their shared happiness. Then, the grand clock began to strike, its chimes echoing through the hall. At the 12th chime, Cinderella remembered the warning. She fled in a rush, leaving behind a single glass slipper on the palace stairs. The next day, the prince searched the kingdom, his heart longing for the mysterious lady. Many young women tried to wear the delicate slipper, but none could. It seemed to fit no one. At last the prince arrived at Cinderella's house. Her stepsisters tried in vain to squeeze their feet into the tiny slipper. Then Cinderella stepped forward, her heart fluttering. The glass slipper fit her perfectly, as if made just for her. The prince saw her clearly for the first time, not as a mystery, but as the kind girl he had danced with. Soon she came to the palace, not as a stranger, but as herself. She forgave the past with a gentle heart, keeping her kindness always. Cinderella found joy in a love that felt like coming home. Kindness doesn't make you small. It prepares you for the moment when magic arrives,